Speaking of wild and conservative, what's your thoughts on the WAP challenge?
There we go.
There's a list of wild people
There
and a
we
list of
go.
conservatives.
Oh man, this shit. Oh man, there's so. My goodness,
Bro.
There's so many views to this.
Yo,
Oh man, I don't. I think all of us are even like.
we like a part of me likes it, part of me just doesn't though.
You know what? First things first. I think for me, huge shout out to Cardi B, man.
Definitely.
She is making some big waves overseas just in her career, man. She's broken so many boundaries, especially if you look at the charts that side. As a female, as an African American female, she's just trailing a blaze for all the other upcoming artists, but just also for herself and her career. So I think anything that we're probably going to say is not taking anything away from how dope she is. I respect her, man. You killing it, Cardi. So if you watch this, just don't headhunt us.
Yeah.
We're just having some conversation.
We just
Yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna pass it over.
I think every generation has their extremists, when it comes to different types of cultures. And I think within the hip hop culture, if I just look at it from a broader perspective, instead of not focus too much on the actual song itself and what it's doing, but just kind of how she's doing it.
Okay.
If you think about back in our day, when we were younger, growing up,
We're still young.
But
There's
I mean,
OGs before us, but I'm just saying,
But like you look at like the early 2000s, think of Lil Kim, how she was doing things.
Good point. Monica.
Exactly. There were those females that were like ahead of the curve and were like, nah, dude, I'm not gonna just fit into this little box that you've expected us to be in.
Short.
I'm gonna do me, And I feel like she's taken on that role for this generation.
Well said.
So yeah, I like. It's touchy because obviously lyrical content wise and the message it's giving across it can be a bit of a touchy subject, but at the end of the day she's doing her. She
is. You see, I think that's another thing that people also just must keep in mind. Whatever we say here is not putting down what she's doing and how she's doing it.
For sure.
I think the three of us can agree that she's killing it, and as lovers of hip hop. Man, she's dope. I love how she promos the music. I love how clean, and the directors that do her videos, man, those guys do an amazing job. Nothing against her craft. Super, super dope. I think for me, there's different contexts in all of this. Like you look at the first context of a first world country and the third world country that we in and the stuff that we're going through, as a nation here in South Africa. So if I have to bring it back home, man, I appreciate the music and I appreciate the song, but I do feel in our context it's a bit way out there. Just from a mental perspective and what it's doing. And I know my girl was telling me about there's a video that she took out that if men are going to talk about objectifying women in their songs in a certain way, she feels it's better that they do it so that it takes the power out of them. So they might as well take the power back in their hands and say it and do it. And I honestly do respect that. Looking at just the history of just the whole male and female and how the previous rappers would be the ones to say she's doing this, she's going that, and so they'd always have the narrative of what the females are doing.
I get that, yeah.
But I think with that being said, just outside of the song, I'm not sure, I haven't done a lot of research, I haven't seen a lot of other things she does in terms of just empowering women in general. And I understand the narrative that she's giving, but how the wavelength or how the wave of it hits for us here is different because, we're still in a country where people are trying to find their identity. We have a lot of sort of, gender-based violence, man. This thing is serious, it's extreme. And what is the mindset that our kids are getting?
True.
So, like I was telling you guys earlier, I also have a dance studio where I teach some kids, and I had caught, like, I'm talking about, one was 9, one was 10, one was 5, one was at 11, all doing the WAP challenge. And like I quoted from this, and it was funny when inside I was laughing. I was like, this isn't happening, because like if you had seen what I saw, you would laugh. Just that I was also taken aback of like, whoa, these are kids like doing such like explicit moves. Like I had to stop them, and I'd be like, I didn't want to shame them, but I had to tell them, you can't do this over here, and like your parents wouldn't. Where did you get like watch this, and like where did you get sort of information from? And you should really run it with your parents first before like like approaching it. I don't want to make them aware of what it's about or where it comes from as well. So because I mean that's not something you should give to a child like that.
But the thing is, if they're doing it, that means they know the lyrics, and that means they know the dance.
Yeah,
bro.
Like so, that's what gets me,
bro. That's and so like I was shocked by it. I'm like, yo, the song has such an impact in a sense, and social media just
amplifies everything.
Just amplifies
it.
TikTok.
And I think that's the tough thing, about this day and age is when it comes to social media, like nobody is safe from anything.
Nobody's safe,
like
bro.
Anything is gonna get out there. Like back in our day, I hate to keep saying this, but like pre-cell phone age and stuff. I mean, if a song was out there and it was big, we'd only hear about it like on the radio, see it on TV. It's not like, okay, every time I pick up my phone, I'm exposed to it. It's in your face and it's there, And I think that's the kind of challenge that just this younger generation has to deal with, is that they aren't safe from anything. At some point in time, they are going to be exposed to it, whether they want to or not.
But doesn't that show how much of an influence the artists actually have in shaping the minds of the young kids?
Exactly.
I mean,
in a sense like that, I don't. Maybe obviously Cardi did it for her demographic, but like where social media is concerned, I don't think they thought as far as to where they would reach it, because now you got these little kids that are accessible to the song, to the dance challenges that are there, and just obviously kids look up to all the cooler kids, and all the cooler kids are out there doing this stuff, and they're learning it from these older cooler kids.
And especially now, if you're having like platforms like TikTok, you know, where it's literally creating challenges out of these songs, you know. So it's like you have to.
So it's even the challenge itself. The moves are explicit.
Yeah.
Like man, I didn't know about this whole thing until I was scrolling up, and then I just saw people humping the ground. I'm like, whoa.
Yo, the
is crazy. I'm like, this is crazy. Why would people be doing that? Like kids are doing such hectic moves, and in my head, I'm like, what is this representative of in our society and in the growing society? Because I mean, we grew up in a different era, like you saying, where if something is famous or if something is really that hot, we hear it on radio. Plus, they want that many visuals. So if these kids are firstly taking this visuals into their eyes and they're listening to this music going into their head, what does this represent at the end of the day?
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite hectic. So I'm looking like, what does the next 10 years look like? What does the next 20 years look like? It's almost like technology, you know. Sometimes they say some of the technology we're getting is great and everything, but they don't know how it's actually going to affect us in the next 10 to 20 years. So I'm looking at these lyrics and I'm like, damn, if my nephew that is currently in high school, grade 9, is listening to this and dancing to us, what is her mentality of herself and just society in general? And how you carry yourself and how guys should be and how, because now in as much as it sounds like they're taking the power back in their heads, the guys are also singing these songs. And now I feel they're even objectifying the women more because they're doing the dance. They're actually doing it. So it's almost like, if you're doing this, then we're cool.
And the guys are appreciating, some guys are appreciating dancing from that perspective, you know. And it's something, you know, it'd be funny. I was just thinking of it the other day. It would be a really funny challenge if not young kids, but like the kids that are doing it, these teens and whatnot, do it in front of their parents, like how they did the Cardi B challenge. What was the first song? Was it Bodak Yellow?
Yeah.
Where they had to sing the song, the lyrics, the explicit version, in front of parents. If someone said Cardi B challenge, they had to do it in front of their parents. So I'm saying, like, it'd be funny if social media wise, it'd be funny if like someone had to be like WAP challenge and they had to do it in front of like their elders. It would be funny. I think that the reaction value would be funny, but they didn't do it that way. They've done it as a dance, and it's just everyone has now. I think it's ventured off into too much of a broad demographic where the wrong age is getting in.
As gents, if you guys now have kids, how comfortable are you with your 6 or 7-year-old singing
Not
this
at
and
all.
dancing to this?
I was just gonna say now, like, if this is the standard that she's setting now, what happens? Like, where do we go from here?
Exactly.
What happens to these kids that are influenced by this 10, 15 years time who want to follow in her shoes?
I mean,
what are they going to have to do now to push that boundary?
Just as like, I mean, I don't have any kids right now or anything, but like I have my dance kids that I do teach at my studio, and they are like my babies to me. You know, I've grown up with them, I've taught them, so they do hold some sort of value to me. And so when I saw them doing this thing, I got like strict parent like vibe. I was like, yo, where did you know? I like my mind flips. So I'm like, I wouldn't want that kind of thing. Even if I had an actual child, that'd be like 10 times more. Yeah. You know, like, how do I even say this right now? Like, it's just.
It's crazy. Eh?
The reaction I would,
I think also the context. I still always come back to. The social context of America and South Africa is also different.
Very.
In a sense that, this is my view. The more what's the word? The more urbanized or the more westernized each country gets, the more the values and morals change. So that's why I also say the song that Cardi B made is for America, because I think they might be more accepting to sort of this genre, type of thing. It's almost like I always make this example. Do you know that there are some countries in Africa that are not as sort of civilized or westernized? Sorry, maybe not civilized, not as westernized as South Africa. That if someone kills someone, that case actually goes on TV because they still have the Ubuntu amongst them. They know their neighbors. If someone is hungry, all of them will go to their house. And so if somebody kills, if there's a murder, it's a big thing. But because of how we've sort of like been, for the lack of a better term, more westernized, we've become more immune to these things. That's why there's more rape cases. That's why there's more murder cases.
So desensitized.
We're so desensitized type of thing. So that music is hitting us different here. Because we're still getting there, but we're not there yet. So we're still on the ground type of thing. We're like, hey, we're still a bit late.
The country's young in itself.
So imagine the more advanced, or the more, it's almost like if you look at the difference between, I always say this, if you look at the difference between Joburg and Durban. And then if a person, it's almost like Joburg, Durban, and PNB. A person from PNB looks at Durban like it's a bit fast. So there's some things that are sort of socially acceptable here that in PNB are like, But if you look at Durban, we look at Joburg as a bigger, city, and we're like, yo, hey, things are hectic there. So it's almost like the more bigger it gets, the more industries you have, the more desensitized we get to things. And so like, I'm looking at that song now in the African context that like, it's dope. We appreciate the work.
But
it's still got a lot of conservatives in South Africa in the sense of our
for me, I think that's cool.
I
don't know. For me, I like that, man. Bro, I still, guys, if you're watching this, maybe you guys can comment, man. And
you can share your
thoughts. What you think.
What are your thoughts? What do you think about it? I find it. This topic can go on for days.
So we don't want to keep you